Historically, it has cost so much to so many to keep the flame of astrology alive. So I always like to begin with gratitude to all those known and unknown, recognized and overlooked, ancient and contemporary, who have and who continue to tend the flame of astrology and our wisdom traditions. Thank you for your courage, your fortitude, your sacrifice, and your exuberance. And always, always to the throbbing, pulsating source of life for the gift of this craft and for this existence. Thank you. How important is it to be true to ourselves? We face this question in each of our minor and grand choices. It was the question that changed the course of my life just before my 21st birthday. I was young, full of the dreams of my future, chatting away in my parents' living room when the rebel genius whispered, "If you stay here, you will marry this man." This man was my high school sweetheart. Beautiful, inside and out, funny, generous, athletic. He was Gujarati, which you may not know, but that's the region of India that I'm from. Pre-med with the aspirations of being a surgeon. We fantasized about a grand Indian wedding, 3 kids coaching Little League, home run life. We were 21. We were at a crossroads. And from somewhere deep within, the rebel genius thundered a little more loudly this time. "If you stay here, you will marry this man." On the one hand, this picture-perfect life with my high school sweetheart. On the other, some mysterious longing, a call into the unknown, an adventure. I stood frozen as a boa constrictor slowly squeezed the breath out of my lungs. How to choose? How important is it to be true to ourselves? And what price are we willing to pay for this fidelity to ourselves? How about the steady supply of oxygen? A price paid by astrologers and scientists, believers and unbelievers, Joan of Arc and Socrates. Hopefully, neither one of us, Cal or me, or any one of us listening, will have to ever face those dire crossroads. But how about the choice of being true to yourself versus financial security? Financial security for an old age you may never see. How about the approval of friends, family, even the barista at the corner coffee shop? My friends and fellow astrology lovers, we all have a rebel genius inside of us, a rebel who marches to its own unique heartbeat, a genius who knows our innermost longings, a rebel genius who wants to grab the steering wheel and make a sharp turn into our deepest longings. Astrologers call this archetypal rebel genius Uranus. Uranus. Uranus, even the way we say its name, is rebellious. In fact, while all the other planets rotate upright as they orbit the sun, Uranus, ever the rebel, rolls at a 90-degree angle. And this rebel genius asks, how important is it to be true to yourself? We can imagine the influences of this rebellion or genius, or both, in its many manifestations through some prominent Sun-Uranus conjunctions. The spiritual teacher Ram Dass, actress Meryl Streep, American TV personality Mr. Rogers, the Indian yogi Ramakrishna, Sherlock Holmes creator Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and more colorful personalities like Will Smith and Zsa Zsa Gabor, or notorious ones like former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, and even further down the far more criminal spectrum like Unabomber Teddy Kaczynski. Interestingly, Ram Dass's friend and colleague and the proponent of psychedelics, Timothy Leary, had a moon-Uranus conjunction. So very, very Uranian people. Uranus arrives as flashes of insight, whispers in our heads, often dismissed as impractical, irresponsible, impossible, crazy. But it offers a way out, or rather into our hearts, an alignment and realignment mechanism. The rebel genius invites us to align our actions with authentic passion and excitement. When we drive a car without proper alignment, it endures friction, loss of control, accidents. What about this vehicle? And just like every car, this one, ourselves, we too need periodic tune-ups. The rebel genius invites us to fine-tune every day, but the major tune-ups take place every 21 years, each quarter of Uranus's 84-year orbit around the sun. The squares and oppositions. Think back to when you were 21. What did the rebel genius whisper to you? All those years ago in my parents' living room, I was frozen, unsure of my path, but the rebel genius knew. It wasn't easy, but within 2 weeks, I was living 200 miles away. Within 3 months, my high school sweetheart had met the woman with whom he would have those 3 kids and that home run life. Theirs, not mine. Mine was just beginning to unfold, an adventure into the unknown, across continents and philosophies, through yoga, entrepreneurism, astrology, pursuing questions and passions, a winding journey into the folds of my ever unfurling heart. How important is it to be true to yourself? I have sinned a rapturous sin in a warm, inflamed embrace, sinned in a pair of vindictive arms, arms violent and ablaze. Thus begins Persian poet Farrukh Farrokhzad's poem, Sin. Published without her permission in the Shah's Iran of 1956, she was just 22 years old. The daughter of a decorated military colonel in the Shah's regime, married into a very conservative family. In the publication of this poem, Farrukh lost the comfort of both her married family and her birth family, access to her child, even her sanity for some periods. Her lover was the editor of a prestigious literary journal. She'd gone to him to be published. Did she really believe that this particular poem would stay secret? In her poem Captive, published before Sin in 1955, at her waxing Uranus square, she described her life. I think about it, and yet I know I will never be able to leave this cage. Even if the warden should let me go, I've lost the strength to fly away. Did her inner rebel genius figure out a way to escape the cage? To speak her truth, to share her poetry, she had to be honest. And she had to pay the price for this honesty. But how satisfying would her life have been as that captive? What's scary at 21 becomes almost insurmountable 21 years later at 42. This time with career, mortgage, responsibilities to growing children and aging parents, the momentum of midlife. Now, watching bridges of Madison County and crying into our tissue boxes. Or getting a younger lover, a fancier car, a nip, a tuck. These are the options that Hollywood offers us, but the rebel genius won't settle for that. Uranus asks us to individuate, to reclaim our identities from those around us, family, friends, society, culture, all the externals. It's not something we put on, but something we discover by molting the residue of what others have left behind. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere, ages and ages hence, 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Only recently did I become aware of that sigh at the beginning of the last stanza. It made me pause. It reset the entire poem for me. The unspoken reckoning, the split-second filtering of a lifetime of longing and experience, the bittersweet finality of every choice made and every choice sacrificed. Communicated so poignantly in that single sigh. Robert Frost, turns out, was born during a Sun-Uranus trine. And this chart is not, the inside is his birth chart. It is not an accurate birth time. So don't pay attention to the houses. I just wanted to put in that there's a Sun-Uranus trine. He was just finishing this Uranus opposition at the moment the poem was first published. And the sun was transiting his natal Uranus right around the time when it was first published. Very, very, very Uranian poem. The tune-ups that Uranus asks us for continue from 21 to 42, then at 63, and again at 84, each time with enormous pressure to conform and punishment for not conforming. It's often something that comes from those who really care about us, who love us very much. They beseech us to compromise. And if we do, we get along. If we don't, we risk social isolation or worse. What have we sacrificed in the name of responsibility, financial security, keeping the peace? What price have we paid for fitting in? There's no judgment here. These are daunting questions, and there are no glib responses, only soul-searching introspection. Wilt Chamberlain, arguably one of the greatest basketball players of all time, faced these exact questions. Despite his point-scoring prowess on court, he was among the worst free throw shooters, averaging about 4 out of 10. But all of this changed in 1962. In 1962, Wilt Chamberlain set the record for more points scored per season and per game than any professional basketball player ever, including up till today. In one game that year, he scored 100 points, during which he made 28 out of 32 free throws. That's almost 9 out of 10. What changed? Well, instead of shooting free throws overhand as convention demands, he employed the smooth underhand, or as it's disparagingly called, the granny shot. Apparently, the grannies know a thing or two about playing ball. That season, Uranus was crisscrossing Wilt Chamberlain's natal Leo sun. On the evening of March 2nd, 1962, that's the outside chart here, and the inside is his. It's a B-Rodden-rated chart. On the evening of March 2nd, 1962, the night of the 100-point game, Uranus had retrograded and was less than 1 degree from his natal sun. Under the influence of the rebel genius, Wilt Chamberlain didn't care how he looked. He just wanted to do his very best. So one would think, riding that behemoth accomplishment, Wilt would popularize this technique and shatter his own record the next season, right? No. In his autobiography, Wilt Chamberlain said that the granny shot made him look silly, like a sissy. And Uranus left his natal sun and he dropped the underhand shot and his free throw average along with it. If Wilt Chamberlain, this 7'1" towering giant of excellence, can be felled by the fear of looking silly, there's no shame for those of us who might choose to dim our lights in the face of possible ridicule. Uranus asks again and again, what price would you pay to be true to yourself? It's a question faced by hope-filled, irreverent revolutionaries and innovators everywhere. Uranian people brave derision, take orders from none other than themselves, follow their own genius, even if the price is obscurity or worse. To them, the price of silencing their inner genius, squashing their excellence, is far heavier than any social or financial price. Whether they reach it or not, well, how can we know without trying, right? Uranus, the feared lord of the unexpected, of thunderbolts and lightning, is not about staying in a relationship or ending it, building a thriving career or a loving family, throwing free throw shots underhand or overhand, or for that matter, any prescribed one-size-fits-all path. It's simply about becoming conscious of what ignites us. It's about being true to ourselves in the face of derision and ridicule and worse. As I think back now to my 21-year-old self, I'm grateful I followed the call into the unknown. It began this lifelong adventure. But being true to myself has never been a one and done simple choice. Every day I encounter forks in the road. Every day I'm pulled in different directions. But if I ever get too far from my heart, the rebel genius whispers, how important is it to be true to yourself. That's all I've got for you right now.
Meghna, what a brilliantly presented presentation. Thank you so much. Meghna, I'd love to talk about an exciting new class at KeplerCollege, which is called Speak to Shine. Can you speak to this course and what students can expect?
Yeah, we are teaching a class. Well, I am teaching a class called Speak to Shine, and it's about mastering your astrological voice to land top speaking gigs. So what happened, I mean, what I discovered is that I joined this group called Kepler Astrologers Toastmasters back in 2022. And through that, I discovered that I have something to say. I had never anticipated that I would have that. I'd never thought that I'm going to be somebody who speaks. I was practicing astrology in my corner of the world, and I just wanted to network with a few other astrologers. But it just changed the way I saw what was inside me. In fact, I had very soon after that, after joining Kepler Astrologers, I was about to go to ESAR, and I was sitting in a cafe, and I had this thought. I have a strong Pluto also, so I had this thought: if I were to die tomorrow, have I done everything I came here to do? And out of the blue, like from somewhere deep within, this voice came out and said, I don't want to die with all this inside of me. And I didn't even know what I had inside me until I started speaking. And that was how I got into speaking. And so now I've been speaking since 2022, and I've spoken at a bunch of wonderful organizations like OPA and ESAR and the Astrological Organization. I'm speaking at NORWAC this year. It's just been this incredible gift that has kind of just opened up, and I didn't even know I had something to say. So anybody who wants to try it on, try on what is the message that's inside of me that I want to say. I mean, if I were to sum up my entire message, it's be true to yourself. Like everything I ever say is about that. Shine your own light. And I wonder if all of us astrologers are really only saying that to people in our own different ways. So discovering the voice that is your particular astrological voice is really important, because I think what happens in the world is astrologers, we emulate our teachers. There's nothing wrong with that. But after a little while, we got to figure out what we really want to say and then craft our style according to it. And when we know what we want to say, we attract people to us who are right fits for us, so that, you don't have those kind of meetings where people go out in the world and say, oh, I had a reading and I don't really care for it, because maybe they went to the astrologer who wasn't quite the right fit. And so if we can express our voice, then we attract people who are right for us. And then in a way, we serve astrology by giving people the right fit astrologer who gives them the right information for them. And then we end up taking better care of our beautiful craft.
Such an excellent point. And picking up on what you're saying, particularly those, and one of the advantages of KeplerCollege, if students who go there, you're not sitting in front of a guru astrologer coming down from the mountain and this is what you should learn, this is how you should go about your techniques. And then there's a little bit sometimes of isolation. At Kepler, it's practice, it's a practicum. You come, obviously you learn from instructors, but it's as you're speaking to, you find your voice, you find your style, and then you relay it back to us and we help you develop as an astrologer. So I think it's such a wonderful point you're making there.
Yeah, in fact, that's exactly what this class is. There's going to be a ton of hands-on practice. There's going to be a little bit of homework where you get to practice again, and we'll give each other feedback. We'll learn how to evaluate our own speeches. And the really cool part is that at the end of this, you, Cal, and your whole marketing team will listen to the speakers of this class. And if they have honed their speech well enough, it's not just for one person, but every single person can have a video posted on the KeplerCollege YouTube channel, which is a huge gift. It's a very, very generous gift. And we're hoping that we can actually help people in just 3 classes hone their voice, clarify their message, and be able to deliver it with a kind of relatability, accessibility, and engagement that would be conveying astrology, but in a way that's compelling.
wonderful point, and it's a great gift for getting out to a wider audience. YouTube is such a powerful medium these days, particularly for astrology. It's a great gift at the end of the course, and we'll put for everybody watching, I'll put all the links below the video in the description and comment boxes. And anything else that you'd like to add about the class, the course, what students can expect?
I'm just really excited. I think it's, it's not that hard. Well, I don't know how hard it is or not. It's just kind of synchronistically happened in my life. But I think that if we give ourselves the opportunity to speak from our hearts, then the world is here to listen, and we'll find the right people for us who also are hungry for that very message that we're talking about. So I'm hoping that we can give people back their voices in some ways, and give astrology a bigger voice. That's really a really big kind of an aspiration of mine, is to bring astrology to its rightful place of this extraordinary craft that often gets discounted. But wow, wouldn't it be great if we had a cadre of people going out there talking about astrology in a compelling, engaging way that makes it accessible to human beings? And whether they're doing it for their social media channels or they're doing it at astrology conferences, either way, what a gift it would be for the world.
There's such a beautiful and inspiring message for all the students out there who will come and sign up for the class. So to reiterate for everybody, please see the links in the description and comment boxes below. And the class will be beginning February 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
So it's 3 Sundays.
Absolutely wonderful. Well, Meghna, again, thank you so much for a brilliant presentation and giving us information about the course that's coming up. Thank you so much, and we'd love to have you back on the show at a later date.
I'd love that, Cal. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Wonderful. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.
Bye.